This is the Chefpreneur podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Chefpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andres Hinojosa. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to start off by just saying Happy New Year to each and every single one of you. 2019 is going to be a huge year for all of us. I wish you the best and the most prosperous year of your life. That will be 2019. And I truly believe that if you believe it will be the best year of your life, it will be the best year of your life. So thank you so much again for tuning in. I hope you guys all had great holidays. I know that I haven't put out a podcast in a couple weeks. It's just been insanely hectic, and I've just been really wanting you guys to focus as well on your families and the holidays and sharing it with the ones you guys care about and love the most. And, I'm really, really happy and excited to get back on the podcast right here, the first podcast of the new year. And we're going to start off again this podcast by doing a little Q&A. So Ryan has asked, what's the best way to charge for personal chef clients? Is it by the hour or is it by some level of flat rate? So whenever I charge clients a price, I never, ever charge by the hour. And the reason why I don't charge by the hour is because it leaves people open for interpretation on how many hours it's actually going to take for the service. And anytime that you confuse the client, you'll lose the client. And this is because when they're thinking about hourly wages, they're thinking, okay, if I'm paying the chef $40 or $50 an hour, how long is it going to take for him to go grocery shopping? Or why is the chef taking an hour and a half to clean up the kitchen? Can't he do it a little bit sooner? Or sometimes they'll be like, you know what, chef, you go ahead and go home. I'll take care of the dishes. I don't want, you to have to do extra work that you don't want to do. So all these things kind of accumulate to add up into them wanting to pay you less because of the hours worked. Now, what I do suggest is playing a flat rate for your services. So whether you're doing weekly meal preparations or you're doing a private event, you always want to go with a flat rate. It could be a flat rate per person, or it could be just a flat rate period for you to do the service. But I would just highly recommend you never charging by the hour, because if you charge by the hour, again, they're always going to be guessing and you're going to be basically against the wall, because the client is going to be looking at every single move you make and wondering if you're doing it slow or fast, or just there's a lot of room for them to think whatever they want to think. So to make it easier for them, you're just going to say, listen, I'm going to come to your home, I'm going to cook, and give you this service for 10 people, or, I'm going to do this many entrees for this many days of the week, on a weekly meal preparation side. And you're basically going to say it's going to be XYZ. My charge for service is going to be this, and the groceries are going to be estimated to be this. And when I buy the groceries, you'll reimburse me back, and it's a done deal. The client is not confused. It makes it very easy for them. So if you're doing a weekly meal preparation, they know it's going to be XYZ every single week, plus the groceries. Or if you're doing a private event, you've given them a quote and you're saying, I'm going to charge you per person, or I'm going to charge you this flat rate for the event, plus the cost of the groceries. So Ryan, I hope that answers your question. And again, you guys can keep asking these questions. You can email us directly at info@chefpreneurprogram.com, or you can definitely reach out to us on Facebook under the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. And we can definitely answer your questions in there, as well as we like to pull questions from that Facebook group as well for the podcast, just so that everyone can hear it and basically get their questions answered. So thank you again so much, Ryan, for that question, and thank you for supporting the podcast. So we're going to dive right into today's podcast, and it's basically the 3 things that you must have to be successful as a personal chef, okay? And I'm going to go through these 3 things, and they're very simple things that I believe that you have to possess, or that you have to work on, or basically do in order to be successful. And you probably are thinking that there's something totally different from what I'm going to say, but this is the truth that I truly believe. If you approach your business and do these things, and you have these 3 key components, you will be successful as a personal chef. And I just want to make a disclaimer, not any of these one of these three things is really for you to be an amazing chef. So I'm going to start out with that, because a lot of times people think that it's just all about the cooking. It's all about how good of a chef you are. That's going to enable you to be successful as a personal chef. And in my personal opinion, that can be further from the truth. Okay, because I'm not saying that you have to be that you shouldn't be a good cook or shouldn't be a good chef. Don't get me wrong. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But that's not really the key ingredients of what I think makes someone successful. And honestly, these three key components could be applied to someone in any business. But realistically, I know for a fact that without these three things, you cannot be successful as a personal chef. So number one on these three things is humility. You have to be humble, okay? What do I mean by that? Listen, all of us as chefs have a little bit of a sense of an ego, right? We are proud of what we do. We're proud of our food. We take a lot of pride in our work, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong with being confident in what you know and what you can do and what you can accomplish. But the problem is that people and chefs in general can come off very arrogant without humility, and it's a huge turnoff for clients. So as you're making this journey from being a chef or a cook into being a chefpreneur and running your own business and being self-employed as a personal chef, it's one of the key components I truly believe that you have to have, if not the most important one. Humility shows signs that you want the client's best interest at heart, like we've talked about before, right? You're going to approach the client with humility. You know what you know, but the client, in a sense, is always right. Now, we've talked about this on the podcast because some people have written into me and said, well, chef, the client isn't always right. It's not always the client is right. And again, what you're right and their right are two different things. And so I do agree with you that what the client thinks is right is not necessarily always the right factual right thing, right? We understand that. But I will stress, and I can't stress enough, that the perception or the reality of the client, whatever they truly believe is right, is literally right. Okay, I hope you're following me with this. It doesn't mean that in our industry or you as an expert, as a chef, can't tell them the right or wrong way how to cook a piece of fish or something like that. There is a right technique and a wrong technique to do those types of things. But the perception of what the client believes is right is real to them. It's their reality and it's right to them. And you have to approach them with humility. You have to understand that when you are serving the guest, you have to have humility. You have to be humble, right? So if a client is asking you to cook a filet mignon well done and they want you to burn the crap out of it, guess what? You have to be humble enough and comfortable enough to do that for them. They're the ones paying you, and you have to reciprocate your services and giving them what they want. And that does take humility. You can't run around being the most arrogant chef because the clients don't really, in a way, care about you. I'm sorry to say that. It's very blunt, but the clients don't care about you. They care about them. Us human beings, we're selfish by nature, right? We're all selfish by nature. Even when we're doing something for someone else, a lot of times there's still something in the back of our head where we're doing it for a reason. Right? Now, I'm not saying that our motives aren't right or anything like that, but we all have a little bit, but just in our human nature, we all have a little bit of selfishness in us, and we do things based upon that mode. And so being humble in front of the eyes of your clients, when the client is wanting something, right? Our job is to give them what they want. And we can't give them those things when we have an arrogant attitude, when we're walking around where we think we're the best on earth and they basically suck. It doesn't work that way. You're going to find yourself going out of business extremely fast. The other night I had a dinner that I did with a client, and she asked me very specifically, Chef, are you going to be offended if we just skip the salad course and we want to make our own salad? It's a family salad that we make all the time for all of our, family gatherings. Are we able to make the salad? And I said, absolutely, please. I would not be offended at all. I appreciate that you're asking me, but I'm definitely not offended at all. And it would be my pleasure if I can help you in any way with the salad. If I can even help prep some of the ingredients for you, please let me know. And she was like, wow, that's really nice of you. I was a little afraid to ask because, I know chefs and their food. And see, these are the perceptions that clients have about chefs, that we're arrogant, that we're basically just mean, that we're, you know what I mean? And honestly, you're going to go out of business really fast if you truly act the way they think of you as a chef, right? If you're acting without any humility and you're being arrogant and you're running around and you're saying, I'm the best, I'll be very honest with you, very few people are going to hire you, because what the clients want is for you to give them what they're looking for. And when you have the best interest at heart of the client, you always win. You will always be called back. You will always win. You will get tipped really well. They'll take care of you and they'll keep coming back for more. So that's number one. You definitely, in this business, in this industry, especially as a personal chef, have to have humility and be humble. Number two, you have to have a servant's heart. You have to have servitude. Okay, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I've actually done a whole entire podcast about this because I believe it's probably the single most important piece of this whole puzzle is servitude. Now, we talked just about humility right now, where the world does not revolve around you, where you have to get off your high horse and you have to humble yourself in order to understand that. And usually, in order to humble yourself, the reason why you're humbling yourself is because you have to be a servant of some sort. You are serving these clients, right? So you have to have a servant's heart, which is servitude. We're doing this for the right motivation, guys and gals. We're not doing this to just fluff ourselves up, to make the whole thing better for us, right? We're truly serving for the right motives. I recently had to talk to one of my team members recently, very minorly, but sometimes she would talk a little bit. She's a server, and sometimes she would talk a little bit about, the lack of gratuity, or that the gratuity wasn't enough. And it sounded very ungrateful, in my opinion. But the thing is that I had to pull her aside and talk about, in my own business, I had to remind her why we do what we do and what our standards are and how our thought process is. And Dinner with a Chef, my own personal chef business, is all about servitude. And we do it for the right motivation. We don't serve people in order to just get something. We don't serve people in order for them to tip us more or to give us a pat on the back. We serve them because it's our heart and it's the right thing to do. We're not doing anything else, but it's just the right thing to do. And I could go on and on about story after story, because this doesn't not just involve, when you think of servitude, some people think that you're serving someone like a waiter or a waitress. And you know what? That is a part of servitude, but it's much more than that. It's the customer experience. It's doing the right things, making the right decisions, keeping your words. You're serving them to the best of your capacity. And you know what? It's always going to pay off in the end, because people can see that a mile away. They can see your heart if you're ready to serve, if you're wanting to give them the best experience no matter what. If they ask you something and you're kind of, putting your eyes up and you're kind of making these little, you're saying little things under your breath, they're going to be turned off. I mean, I know this is common sense, but you'd have no idea how many people, how many times have you been out to a local grocery store or local business and you've had horrible customer experience? And it's almost like they don't want to serve you at all. If you were the person's parents, maybe they would serve you a little bit better, but you're not. You're there as a customer, and it almost seems like they don't care about you. So especially in the word hospitality, which we are all in the hospitality industry, right? What does it mean to be hospitable? It means that you want to serve people. You want to have a servant's heart. And that's the thing, is that we don't want to just get gratitude. We don't want to get, it's not just for the tips. It's not even for recognition. You don't even need the big pat on the back. It's not like you're doing it just to get the review on Yelp or Google or wherever. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do and because you have a servant's heart. And that is one of the most, if not the most important keys of what I believe you being a successful personal chef is, because without that, you're not being hospitable and you're not serving them to the best of your capacity. These are things that are going to drive the success of your business. In fact, there's a lot of the practical things that we teach in the program that are very vital and that are very important. But when people don't feel important, when you're not serving them, they can read that a mile and a half away. They can read your attitude. They can see if you're arrogant and if you have humility. They can read if you're being, having a servant's heart and wanting to serve them to the best of your ability with everything that you have. They can read that and spot that a mile away. Okay. So I just want to reiterate that. Now, number 3, and last but not least, number 3 is passion. Okay. You have to have passion. Now, with us chefs, it's a little easier for us to feel like we have passion. And sometimes our passion carries so deep into what we're doing that, again, it leads us into being arrogant, or leads us into being, somebody who's not, being a servant, that we're just kind of concerned with what we're doing. But what I mean is specifically about passion is that people have to feel that you're passionate about not only the food, but about them and what you're doing as a whole. I was recently watching a YouTube video of a tour of the French Laundry of Thomas Keller. And, and he was talking about this was a while ago, but he was talking about the kind of remodeled kitchen that they have in the French Laundry. And he was kind of taking this tour, and it was a little video tour. And he pointed up to the 5 stars kind of above the kitchen there at the front of the kitchen. And he was saying that those 5 stars are there not to give ourselves a pat on the back, not to make us feel like we're super important, but actually to remind us of why we've gotten 5 stars from the Forbes Travel Guide, why we've gotten 4 stars from the San Francisco Chronicle, and why they've gotten 3 stars from the Michelin Guide, right? He said something very key. It was to remind them all the responsibility and how we're supposed to be open and generous and hospitable to the guests coming in the restaurant. It's a reminder to remind us of what we stand for, the passion we have, not only for the craft, but for taking care of the guest, for taking care of the clients. This is what passion means. And people can see your passion from a mile away. If you're shopping at a local farmer's market and you're telling the story of the ingredients that you're shopping for, and you're telling the clients, listen, I wanted you to experience the best of what San Diego has to offer in my area. Of course, in my case, San Diego, but it could be wherever you are, in Atlanta, in Seattle, in Portland, in Pennsylvania. And you want to give these clients the best of what those areas have to offer. So you're shopping at the best stores. You're shopping at the farmer's market. You're getting them the freshest seafood possible. You're telling the stories about where these products come from. They start to sense the passion coming out. That passion ties in for them thinking, wow, this chef really cares about us having an experience. He cares about us having amazing products, which is part of the experience. And he really, truly cares and is very passionate about what he's doing, what he or she is doing. And so passion is the third ingredient for this recipe of success as a personal chef. I'm telling you, if you have these 3 ingredients, you are well on your way to being successful as a personal chef. I know they're very simple. It's almost even hard to imagine that it's that simple, but it truly is that simple. People can smell your arrogance a mile away. They can smell your attitude a mile away. They can see if you have passion or if you don't by the work you do, by the way you act, by the way you talk, by the professionalism that you have. And when they see all these things all together, all 3 of them together line up, and they're seeing that you have that humility for them and taking their request and basically giving them what they want, doing it with a servant's heart. When they ask you that request, when they ask for that well done steak, you're saying, my pleasure, of course. It'd be my pleasure to do that for you. I'm here to serve you, right? They're seeing that you're passionate, so that you're going to take that filet mignon, you're going to make it well done. And I know filet mignon well done is not what you want to cook as a chef, but you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to be passionate about this, and I'm actually going to make this filet as moist as possible, being it well done, right? So I'm going to take my passion, I'm going to translate into what the guests want, and I'm just going to give them what they want and give them the experience they're looking for. Again, this entire process of you starting your own business, this entire process of what your business stands for, how you act, how you talk on the phone, how you say things in an email, how you speak to them when you're in front of them, how you respect their home, how you're passionate about the products and respecting the products that you're cooking for them, how you're serving them, no matter if they give you a tip or not, you're serving them 110%. You're serving every single client the same, with humility, with dignity, with integrity. You're doing the right things. You're approaching things the right way. You will win. You will be successful. So I just hope that this podcast really opened it up and got to see what I believe the 3 ingredients of success as a personal chef are. I know that they're not really the norm. Other people might tell you something about what it takes to be a successful personal chef, that you have to have good budgeting and you have to be really good at accounting and you have to be a really great cook and a really great chef, and all those things, those things are definitely important. But I think the guest on the client side of your business, these 3 key ingredients are the most important things, I believe, for you to be successful. The most important out of any of those other things. Because realistically, if you are humble and you're always learning new techniques, new cuisines, new types of food, you're going to be able to portray that to the clients better. If you're serving them and you're always serving them with your 110% attitude that you have, and you're serving them from the right motivation, from the heart, you're going to win. If you're doing it passionately, if you're looking and seeking out the best quality products and you're taking your passion to a whole nother level and you're making sure you're not cutting corners on the recipe, you're not cutting corners on the techniques that you're implementing, on the food you're preparing for your clients, well then realistically, you are a good chef. You are a good cook. You see, these 3 key ingredients still line up with that. It's not all about the food. It's not all about the food. I can't repeat that enough. But I truly believe these 3 ingredients here that I've discussed with you today on this podcast will literally set you up to be a success in being a personal chef and starting your own business. Hey guys, I hope that you guys got the point I was trying to make today. I really do. Here at the Chefpreneur, we're all about taking and telling you that the future is yours, putting it in your own hands. The restaurant hotel industry and the hospitality industry as a whole has almost cut out the chef in a lot of ways. They've batted them down. They've pushed them down. A lot of you are underpaid. A lot of you are underappreciated. You're overworked. You're stressed out. We have suicidal rates going higher in the chef industry. We have depression on an all-time high. We have drug problems. We have alcohol problems. You know what? Here at the Chefpreneur program, we believe you have the option and the ability to put your future as a chef in your career into your own hands, and cutting out the middleman of the hotel and the restaurant, going straight to the source and cooking directly for clients. This is what this program is all about. We believe that the sky is the limit, that you can set your mind, set your vision, set your goals as high as you want them. And we believe with our help and us helping you, you can accomplish all that you want to accomplish in a shorter time frame with the most amount of results and the least amount of effort. Hey, you know what? This is Chef Andres Hinojosa with the Chefpreneur. Listen, I want you guys to join us on Facebook. Join the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. We really want you to get on there. So if you go into Facebook, you type in the search bar, the Chefpreneur Movement, you'll see the Facebook group. It is a private Facebook group. It's closed, but it's completely free. If you're serious about starting a personal chef business, we'd love for you to join the group. And we're also still giving away our ebook. And so you can go to ebook.chefpreneurprogram.com. That's ebook.chefpreneurprogram.com. You can sign up, get that free ebook. It's a great ebook. There's 10 small little tiny chapters in it, and it's a really easy read. You can read it in about 30 minutes, and it gives you a really great overview of starting your own personal chef business and starting you out on the right foot of that. Hey, as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning into this podcast. I can't wait to speak to you guys next week. I hope you guys all have a fantastic new year. And together as chefs, I believe 2019 will be the best years of our career and the best years of our life. Hey, thank you so much again. I care about you, and I'm here to educate, motivate, and inspire you all. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online training, visit becomeachefpreneur.com.